Hey, Brian Parker here with another exciting video. We have the beginning of the summer here in Florida. I spend more time in Michigan when it's warm down here. I'm going back and forth, but it's the beginning of the storm season. We got some coming in tonight. I went to a minor league baseball game last night and just got crushed by these storms that just come out of nowhere. But speaking of storms that come out of nowhere, it's zombie debt, not just the mortgage debt we just did for you, see the video up there, but generally the mortgage debt crisis caused the mortgage debt problem that is now resurrecting. The industry of zombie debt collection has been going on by the billions for many, many years, and all sorts of government entities and plaintiffs' attorneys have been combating it, but it's still out there. And I still get calls every day. Some of the calls I get, I'd say once or twice a week, people are saying, I'm being chased by this company that sounds weird, like they'll have a fake attorney name, you know, James and Associates, and they'll send letters with spelling errors, or they won't use the mini Miranda warning. It's clear that these fake debt collectors are some guy in his underwear in his mother's basement, you know, sending out calls by the millions or fake letters, but they do bother people enough to fear they're in the middle of a mortgage refinancing, or they're applying for loans, and now suddenly this weird zombie debt buyer is harassing them for maybe $200 to $500, but it's still worrisome. And I found a lot of it comes from payday loans and these quick loan companies back many years ago that are now resurrecting. So I am still getting many, many calls on zombie debts. I actually kind of like doing them unless the person I'm pursuing or suing is uncollectible. And the big debt buyers, there is one of them that still collect old debts beyond the statute of limitation debts, but that's different from a zombie debt that no longer exists and is no longer in your credit report, and we're going to talk about that. So attached to this video and killdebt.com will be my zombie debt strike pack. Help you prevent or fight when a zombie is knocking at your door. What is the zombie debt? Let's take a look. It's 4 things. Shazam. It's a time-barred account. The statute of limitations long passed, and it no longer belongs on your credit report. I'll have a cease and desist letter for this zombie debt if you're getting harassed in that way. As I said before, the 90% of my calls on these things are from old payday loans or cash advances long paid off. Somehow that data gets into the bad guy's possession, and they start harassing people for this debt that they know they've paid off or it's long gone. This is a big one. And I actually sued a very big and reputable debt collector for many years for doing this. They'd have thousands of dollars of outstanding loans that they'd repurchased, and this is a debt buyer, and they'd have $10 payment on my client's credit report, like very regularly. I'd see $10, and the client go, why would I make $10 payment on a $20,000 debt that I may or may not own? So they were re-aging the trade line. So as we know from normal nomenclature, a debt belongs on our credit or stays there and disappears after 7 years. I'll go into the specifics of that. So what a debt collector or an old debt buyer will do, they'll re-age it. We'll take a look at that, what that means. That means really the date of first delinquency, when you're first 30 days late, the clock starts on that 7 years, and so a debt buyer will buy it 10 years later and re-age it as though the clock just started. We'll talk about that. And I'll also have a special dispute letter on this video for you. And then of course, the 4th one, phantom portfolios, debts were paid, discharged, or never owed, but resurface. And again, it's all fear and threats. Most of our motivations in our life, if you step back and think about it, we act faster on threats, either to us or others or our loved ones, or fear of what happens. I've talked about this in the past. I've been straddled with this, and I know many are. You consider the outcome that has a 1% chance of happening on top of everything else, and you focus in on that, when it's really, when you actually face the thing, and that's the truth behind all fear, is to face the fear. You'll find out the worst is not going to happen. It can actually be a positive, but we focus on that worst case scenario. And so that's what it's all about. It's all about emotion. Debt collectors playing and toying with our emotions. So what do we do? First, let's see how we talked about how debt collectors reanimate the debt. This is the main one. Let me put up how collectors reanimate the debt, force it back to life, Shazam. Re-aging, they change the DOFD, the date of first delinquency, in the Metro 2 data. That's how things are reported either by furnishers to credit reporting agencies, and that Metro 2 dynamic is part of the reporting process. And it keeps a trade line on file past the 7 years, which is a 1681CA for FCRA violation. FCRA, probably 10% of my videos with you, is very powerful stuff. So, and interestingly, though we fear the debt collector more, the credit report has more consequences against us. And so debt collectors, again, play on our fears of that and our credit rating. But I digress. The DOFD FCRA compliance date of first delinquency is the month and year an account first went 30 days late and never became current again. So those things, as bad as they are, come off 7 years later, plus 180 days after the true DOFD. That clock never resets, even if the debt is sold, charged off, or you make a partial payment. That's good. Here's how they re-age and get you. Shazam, a bad debt buyer will edit the DOFD in its Metro 2 upload, showed in this case, the 2016 shows 3/20/23. So it looks to the debt, to the credit bureau, like it's a new debt, a recent debt, and now it's going to sit on your credit report for another 7 years to 2030 on something that was long gone, dead. So now it's a zombie debt, resurrecting in this case on your credit report. Under FCRA 1681CA4, the bureaus, those are the people that collect all the reporting. They are reporting agencies, meaning they don't necessarily do anything. They'll put on legally what you report. So just quickly, a car company, a credit reporting company, or any kind of credit, any kind of furniture, you go and look one carpet and they'll put it on 0 interest, blah, blah, blah. That information gets furnished to the credit reporting agencies, along with then pulling your credit report to see if you're eligible at the interest rate they're charging. If not, higher. But the credit reporting agency, by its definition, is a reporting agency. But it has so much liability because it is supposed to be the gatekeeper and protector of our private information. So, under FCRA 1681 S2 A5, furnishers must apply an accurate DOFD, and they can't ever alter it. The furnisher, again, is the creditor, the debt collector, or anybody asking or supplying for information on a credit report. So re-aging violates the FCRA. So what you do, and I'm going to include this in my zombie pack, you dispute. So, and then if a furnisher or a credit reporting agency verifies that re-aged debt that's long gone and now it's suddenly a new debt as true, they now expose themselves. So that letter, that dispute letter that'll be on my website is killer. It's very important for you. Keep a paper trail, register by now. You can make this into gold. You're not trying to make money, you're trying to protect yourself, but if they're gonna violate the law, you can go violate them. I'll leave it at that. So you also have FDCPA rights. Remember we did a lot of E and EF videos. Let's put the video, FDCPA videos, EF videos, exciting stuff. Under E8, communicating credit information which is known or which should have been known to be false and putting on the credit report is verboten. It's illegal. If you're aware, you know it's not true, right? So my favorite is E2A, 1692 E2 capital A, re-age DOFD. A collector falsely presents the debt as legally collectible or puts on the amount that is not true even when it is time barred. Here is a common thing that I used to see many years ago. In that one example I told you about where a major debt buyer, that debt buyer, I would sue them and be in court with them for trial. I was doing trials once every 2 weeks. It was a battle, man. I was exhausted. I was going through the ringer. And the funny thing happened is I kept winning. And each time I won, they brought in a bigger guy. Finally, they brought in head of litigation. And I beat her. And they finally said, "Uncle, whatever you do, don't sue us anymore." And to this day, whenever I have a case with that, what its new name is, they say, "Just show us what you got. Don't do anything else." And we've had a good relationship, good in that I get my clients out of that debt just automatically. And that is also down the road with law firms that don't belong to this big firm. They're third-party law firms. So I fought hard, man, and it was bloody. But we won for consumers. And to this day, 10, 15 years later, I'm still benefiting from that, and so are my clients. And so I'm talking about the small payment trap, Shazam. The debt collector or the bad guy will call and go, "Hey, pay us $10 as a good faith. We know you're not a good guy." So you go, "Okay, you just resurrected the zombie, you zombified the statute of limitations, and you created this debt that's alive now. It's no longer a zombie. It's alive." So now for $5, for the want of a nail, you just added, in some cases, 6 years to a statute of limitation for collections, 7 on the credit report. There are states that protect against this, but believe it or not, there are more states that allow this type of shenanigans to go on and allow dead debt to come back to life. Here are those states. There's more than that don't allow this. Shazam. I'm not going to read them all. You can read, but look at that. All those states allow someone to just talk you into paying that debt. Several states and jurisdictions, including New York, California, Texas, and District of Columbia, now require debt collectors to disclose to consumers when a time-barred debt and that a payment or partial payment can revive the debt. So there are some states that are doing good. Neither one of those states I practice in, although I just picked up a case in Western District, Texas. Let's take a look at another way that debt zombie shows up. Zombie debt. Number 3, Shazam. Threatened credit reporting. That's an easy one. That's been a tool for bad guys for a long time, even for good guys, where you say, you gotta pay this or you're gonna be finding this on your credit report. As I may have mentioned in many videos ago, I got a great class action in Florida right now that is moving all the way up, and it's every time they file something against us, we work hard to prevail. And it just says, and it's a simple thing, if you are going to report somebody's bad delinquency on a credit report and they dispute, that dispute must follow with the reporting. And this company was sending out letters without that first part, saying your dispute will be followed. So they'd say, you got 20, and this is what they said, you've got 20 days to pay or we're going to put this on your credit. Fear of credit damage is a motivator, but it's unjustified, unlegal fear in Florida that says you must supply the consumer the right to dispute and have that dispute travel with the delinquency mark. So that's bandied about throughout time, that we're going to mess your credit report up if you don't pay, and there are states and federal ways to get around that. And this is a mini one, but Shazam. Remember the rule. Unfortunately, statistics show, and I've said this before, 90% of debt collection lawsuits end up in failure, meaning default or just where the person gets so scared they make these bad deals just to get away from this without taking some time. And you and I live in the 10%. So they'll file bad robo-signed, old mass, horrible freaking zombie debt in lawsuits, knowing that it's a good business move for them. 90% are going to get ignored. So that's just scary. So what are we going to do? Scary. Shazam. What do we do to protect ourselves? This is some good stuff. Go to, I'm going to talk about NFL right now. How am I going to do that in a zombie debt collection video? Watch this. Pull your credit once a year. Pull your credit report at annualcreditreport.com, Shazamski. I've been in your situation, just about in every financial situation. Last thing I wanted to do in some points in my life is look at credit reports. Yeah, I need another witness to how bad I'm doing, but I can assure you that down the road, life gets better. You just put some effort into it. As I said at the beginning of this video, face your fears rather than run from them. It's a life lesson. I only have gray hair from getting my ass kicked a lot. And so I am not judging you in any way or telling you I know better than you, but I've been there, done that. Face that freaking fear. Click that free thing that the government gives us, free credit reports, and keep it somewhere. So the NFL story. In training camp, the NFL does baseline testing on all its players. So during the games, when the games start, they get smacked in the head. They now have this baseline testing to compare with the results of checking them out in the blue tent. And if the variation's too large, they pull them off the field. That's part of the protocol. You're doing that. Take a baseline credit report of where things look today. So if this zombie debt or anything else shows up, you've got, wait a minute, mister, this is the beginning. Now you're adding to this. That was on my credit report, the lists many years ago. Who the heck are you? So pull that credit report. Don't look at it, but just pull it for when you may need it. Dispute all accuracies on your credit report. If you do look at it, I always tell my clients, take a page with bad stuff on it, whether it's ID theft or just inaccurate, circle those inaccuracies, attach them to my dispute letters, and send with a copy of your ID, and just that page showing the debt collector or the debt buyer or the furnisher, whoever you're asking to fix, can't say, we don't have enough information, because it's right there, right? They do that. They want to reject your rightful disputes. So I'll have on this website, again, is my zombie pack. Keep a paper trail, registered by mail. Let's put that up there. Keep a paper trail, registered by mail. It's your friend. Whenever you send a letter, keep a paper trail, a signed copy of the letter and a registered letter, so no one can say, well, you didn't get your letter, and they do. A part of that zombie pack will be my debt validation letters. I'm going to throw in, I just thought about this, a medical debt validation letter. It's a little quirky, but you can have it. And I'll put that as part of the zombie pack, because medical debt is like 58% of debt collection these days. 3 further steps you can take to protect yourself with the oncoming zombies. Shazam. Never pay or promise an old debt until you confirm the SOL hasn't expired. So make sure, if you go, I didn't pay on that debt for 6, 7, 8 years, check your SOL. In some states it's 3 years. And then if it's the 4th year they're asking you to pay and it's not on your credit report and there's no proof of payment, you send them one of my your own validation letter from the zombie strike pack. Capture every communication. This is, you know how you call anybody these days and go, this is going to be recorded. We're doing this for training purposes. That sort of has, depending on if it's a collection attempt, legal ramifications. There are a lot of states that allow you to do a one-party recording, meaning only one of you is required to give permission to record the whole thing. Again, I won't get into it. Has something to do with phone taps. So if, for example, someone's being taped and neither one of those people have given permission, you better have a federal or criminal warrant to allow you to do that. That's why it's framed in terms of only one person has need to be part of the permission status. So a two-party consent state, meaning both parties have to consent before you're allowed to record what's being said. Let's put that up there. Shazam. I put that up there because there's fewer of them and more of those states that allow you to record without getting the other side's permission. So capture every communication, their evidence. Again, if they're recording you anyway, or if, let's say, Florida's a two-party state. So somebody from Florida calls you in Michigan a one-party state, according to the Sullivan case. Do you have a right to record them if you're in Michigan and they're in Florida? Generally, no, but they called you. And you are in Michigan, which is a one-party, so I would argue you can record. It's up to you what you want to do. But the best thing, of course, as always, from my zombie strike pack, have a cease and desist letter, have a validation letter, have a dispute letter. It's gold, Jerry, gold. And that's always dispute, always document. Keep a paper trail, certified by mail. Keep a copy of the signed letter, anything you attached. It's going to cost you $10 to $15 to do it right. But that's how you beat the zombies. If they're here or if they're coming, you protect yourself. It's bad stuff, again, pulling your own credit report and going, I need to see that. I'm already embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Fight back. You're killing something that's already dead, all right? And you don't need anybody's approval. And again, fear, what did that guy say? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That is so true. The outcome of most things that you think about, no matter what it is highly unlikely. We focus on that small 1%. It's really somewhere between 10 and 30%, and we can handle that. We can frankly handle the worst case scenario. It's not going to kill us. We're going to kill the zombie debt. So go to my zombie debt strike pack on killdebt.com. It's chock full of good stuff. Let's show you the killdebt.com documents vault actually in use. Shazam. Look at that. Click, click, click. Isn't that beautiful? Every document, I'm told there's over 1,100, is in there or on its way to being in there. And I'm going to tell you for the first time, I'm going to convert everything I've got into, how do I put this? I don't know how to put this. It's not my thing, man, but I'm working hard to do this, into an AI methodology so that you can come to the site eventually and you can see my stuff. And so, like, for example, if you do ChatGPT, that is from the entire web. So I've noticed with ChatGPT, it's really good to provide a skeleton, speaking of zombie debt, but the case law is wrong and the statutes they quote are all wrong. It's really, especially after 30 years, you know all the cases and you all know all the statutes. You can do them by heart. And you look and go, I thought this was ChatGPT. Be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create Parker GPT. And it's going to be the same sort of ChatGPT, but it's going to directly from my brain. So all the good stuff, all the new stuff, all the laws, everything that you need to protect you that's on the site now, you can do a drop-down menu and just put your name, put your problem, put your case, and out will pop if you want to use it. And there'll be obviously disclaimers and legal advice things that you can now create your own your own complaint, your answer, dispute letter, with your information. But here's the kicker. If you like what I do and you're at that site, you like me. Not, what's the like? But I mean, I've got the brain, right? I've done this for 30 years and the gray hair. It'll be embedded into the thing that you produce. So it won't be the general chat GPT. It will be the Parker GPT with my nuttiness that drives freaking debt collectors and debt buyers and creditors mad. I hear that a lot, but I'm mad for you. So let's do this. Stay tuned. When you're a member of killdebt.com, this is coming up for you. This is groundbreaking. I can't do enough for you. This is the next iteration of the website where I'm giving myself to you. I'm going to give you my intellectual property, like out of SpaceX technology. So I can die and my consciousness is going to be in this site working for you, right? That's a weird way of putting it. It's just an AI thing, but it's going to be so good for you. So there'll be another platform for you coming up very soon. Stay tuned. You want to get involved now with killdebt.com? Yeah, the prices are going to rise once we start doing that thing. You have to. It costs me money to do that. So I am not pitching you to go sign up for this because of something you don't even see yet. I assure you it's coming, the AI of it all, and it will be like Parker ChatGPT, but localized and real cases, and all my forms, my 1,100 forms will be there right for you, okay? Please forgive me if it sounds like I'm pitching, but this is gonna be big. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope this helps today. Bye-bye.